Squawk, squawk, fellow sorrowers. Today we're going to be analysing and examining serial killers and mass murderers. I would say psychopaths, sociopaths, but they're not all one and the same. Okay, but in particular, we're going to be analysing and examining archontic infection. Okay, because at one point or another, each of these individuals have stated that they were under the influence of something otherworldly. Okay, underworldly even. And I am very aware from my studying and research over the past 5, 6 years into psychopathy and psychopathology that they will use this as part of their deception. But the ones that already get caught, accused, tried, sentenced are left with very little reason to continue that excuse. So the following is going to be an variety, an amalgam of short little cuts of these evil people who all have one thing in common. They chose not to get their fillings after the cavity had rotted away and left holes in them, but instead to be filled in by that cavity, by the archons. Now, along with Canaanites and reptilians, as I've said before, these are vessels allow archons to root themselves. Okay, but psychopaths have it also. So each of the individuals you're going to see briefly and shortly and momentarily are all either Canaanite bloodline, reptilian bloodline, or mere sheer psychopaths. Okay, sociopaths slightly different, but it's still part of the same mindset. Okay, the same neurology. And so first up, we have Dennis Rader, aka BTK, with his archontic influence that he called Factor X.
In his jailhouse interview, Rader blamed his murder spree on that mysterious force he has always claimed was way beyond his control, Factor X.
Something that I used it. I actually think I may be possessed with demons. I was dropping my head when I was a kid. I talked to some theological Christian people, and some of those people are really strong. They actually think, well, the Bible says that there's demons within you or can come into you. That's the only thing I can figure out. I have, something drove me to do this. Normal people just don't do this. You can't stop it. I can't stop it. It's just, it controls me. It's like it's in the driver's seat.
Second up, we have David Berkowitz, aka Son of Sam, with his archontic influence that he called Sam.
I felt that at this time I had, regrettably, I look back at it with just regret. At this time, I had made a pact with the devil. I had allowed this satanic thing to control me, and I felt these paranormal powers. I know that sounds so hard to understand, but that's what was happening, and I felt somehow invincible. I felt that I had this power, and I was unknown to me. I was slowly being led down a path of destruction.
Did it give you a high? In other words, what was the plus for you? There has to be a plus. What did you get out of it?
Nothing.
So you were not happy when you were doing this?
No. I just felt like a brainwashed robot.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that like?
I just felt I had no mind. I felt something else was controlling me.
And you took it to a dog?
No, that was
What was
just,
that?
that was just, I'd rather not talk about that. That was just a
No, I'm not going to pressure, but there were pressures on you.
Yeah, sure, they were
You were
pressures.
hearing from sources outside of yourself.
Not in that psychological way, but it was a satanic thing.
All right.
It was-
Why do you think it took you to take a life of someone? Why do you think that it took? I mean, there are a lot of people in cults and a lot of people who do weird things. Why did you do what you did, do you think?
At the time, I was misled. I thought that what I was supposed to do. It was
You
the
thought what you were
stupidest.
doing was right?
It was not right, but that somehow this had some kind of plan.
Third up, we have Ted Bundy, aka the Florida Sex Beast, and his archontic influence that he called the Entity.
It's a very difficult thing to describe. The sensation of of reaching that point where I knew that it was like something had, say, snapped. That I knew that I couldn't control it anymore. That these barriers that I had learned as a child, that had been instilled in me, were not enough to hold me back with respect to seeking out and harming somebody.
Would it be accurate to call that a frenzy, a sexual frenzy?
Well, yes, that's one way to describe it. A compulsion, a building up of this destructive energy. Another factor here that I haven't mentioned is the use of alcohol. But I think that what alcohol did, in conjunction with, let's say, my exposure to pornography, with alcohol, reduced my inhibitions. At the same time, the fantasy life that was fueled by pornography eroded them further. Well, again, please understand that even all these years later, it's very difficult to talk about it, and in reliving it through talking about it is difficult to say the least. But I want you to understand what happened. It was like coming out of some kind of horrible trance or dream. I can only liken it to after, I don't want to over-dramatize it, but to have been possessed by something so awful and so alien, and then the next morning wake up from it, remember what happened, and realize that basically, I mean, in the eyes of the law, certainly in the eyes of God, you're responsible.
Fourth up, we have Ed Kemper, aka the co-ed killer, and the archontic influence that he called the Passion.
And this craving, this awful, raging, eating feeling inside. I could feel it consuming my insides. This fantastic passion. It was overwhelming me.
Fifth up, we have Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker, and his archontic influence that he called the nature of evil.
As far as Satan is concerned, I believe in a malevolent being. His description eludes me, but I have felt powers that are evil.
Who are you?
Just a guy. Just a guy.
Sixth up, Charles Manson, aka Charlie, and his archontic influence that he named the Now.
People look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are.